So this is an emergency broadcast. Good evening, everyone. The president is currently speaking on the issue concerning River State. Um, it is indeed, you know, it's a sign to show that this thing happening in River State is really taking a dimension that many of you, will begin to worry what is actually happening. Moments ago, we there were, earlier today, sorry, there were bomb blasts that affected some oil pipeline. Let's bring
Apart
in
from
President
that,
Bola
both the
Tinubu
House
as
and the
he
governor have not
speaks
been
to
able to
us
work together.
regarding what is
Both of
happening in
them
River
do
State.
not realize that they are in office to work together for the peace and good governance of the state. The latest security report made available to me show that between yesterday and today, there have been disturbing incidents of vandalization of pipelines by some militants without governor taking any action to curtail them. I have, of course, given stand order to the security agencies to ensure safety of lives of good people of River State and the oil pipelines. With all this and many more, no good and responsible president will stand by and allow the grave situation to continue without taking remedial steps prescribed by the Constitution to address the situation in the state, which no doubt requires extraordinary measures to restore good governance, peace, order, and security. In these circumstances, having soberly reflected on and evaluated the political situation in Rivers State, and the governor and deputy governor of Rivers State having failed to make a request to me as president to issue this proclamation as required by Section 305, Paragraph 5 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it has become inevitably compelling for me to invoke the provision of the Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended.
Don't tell me you're going to declare state of emergency.
State of emergency.
Jesus!
State with effect from today, 18th March, year 2025, and I so do. By this declaration, the governor of River State, Mr. Similai Fubara, his deputy, Mrs. Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the House of Assembly state are hereby suspended for an initial period of 6 months. In the meantime, I hereby nominate Vice Admiral Eboket Ibas, retired, as administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state and the interests of the good people of River State. For the avoidance of doubt, this declaration does not affect the judicial arm of River State, which shall continue to function in accordance with their constitutional mandate. The administrator will not make any new laws. He will, however, be free to formulate regulations and may be found necessary to do his job, but such regulations will need to be considered and approved by the Federal Executive Council and promulgated by the President for the state. This declaration has been published in the Federal Gazette, a copy of which has been forwarded to the National Assembly in accordance with the Constitution. It is my fervent hope that this inevitable intervention will help to restore peace and order in River State by awakening all the contenders to the constitutional imperatives, binding on all political players in the River State in particular and Nigeria as a whole. Long live a united, peaceful, secured, and democratic River State in particular, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria as a whole. God bless you all for listening. Thank you.
Now, people, this is not expected. You know why I'm saying this is not expected? Forget the title. The moment I saw that Tinubu unexpectedly wanted to address the nation, I decided, I titled it State of Emergency because obviously that is the state of emergency. What I did not see coming, I'm blown away. What I did not see coming, that Tinubu will fall for this. So Tinubu, by all means, this is like Donald Trump speaking to Ukraine president, defending Russia. When Donald Trump starts defending Russia, something is wrong. Here is Tinubu defending Wike, declared state of emergency, and Vice Admiral, I didn't catch the name, is going to be the governor. By now, what it means, Fubara is gone, deputy gone, all the House of Assembly gone, everything dissolved. Wow. 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 I'm shocked. To be honest, wow. Tinubu declares state of emergency. Have your say. Join me. Let's analyze this. The link is in the comment section. Let me go back and play that video again. Now we have it. Tinubu declares state of emergency. I did not see that coming, to be honest with you people. I did not see that coming. Tinubu declares state of emergency. I didn't see that coming. Let me play that once more. I did not see that coming. Because I was watching News Central because I have a news placement that was expecting to. So they called me saying, Mazi, the placement of the stuff is going to come 6:20. And I was just watching, thinking 6:20, let me see. Honestly, I never expected that Tinubu would do this. But let's listen once more. Wow. Wow. Really, I am
Well, at this point, we would, of course, cut to a live feed right now where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is addressing the nation on the situation in Rivers State. Stay with us.
To be honest with you guys, if I tell you that this is not a shock to me, I must be lying. In my years of broadcast, this is a shock. Unprepared, catching it live, speaking about it live. Tinubu took everybody by surprise. Nobody knew that this was going to happen. Nobody knew. Man, Tinubu has grown balls. Serious ones. So if you like this stream, please, by all means, like, share, and subscribe.
Fellow Nigerians, I feel greatly disturbed at the tone we have come to regarding the political crisis in Rivers State. Like many of you, I have watched with concern the development, with hope that the parties involved will allow good sense to prevail at the soonest. But all that hope borne out without any solution to the crisis. With the crisis persisting, there's no way democratic governance, which we all fought and worked for over the years, can thrive in a way that will redound to the benefit of the good people of the state. The state has been at a standstill since the crisis started, with the good people of the state not being able to have access to the dividend of democracy. Also, it is public knowledge that the governor of Rivers State, for unjustifiable reasons, demolished the House of Assembly of the state as far back as 13th December 2023.
You see, at this point, because he has finished, I will probably be pausing at some point. Now, What's the press? This is me now. I own. This is my own. That is my analysis here. The statement he made now is, in my view, very unpresidential. It means he has taken side. He has taken side against the governor. He is now regurgitating what the governor did, that, the side of the governor. He's blaming the governor for destroying, which I agree, but actually on that one, for destroying the assembly. I agree with him on that, that the state assembly was destroyed by the governor. But as a father of the whole nation, this blame, he laid it squarely, or rather the blame for this crisis, he laid it squarely on the foot of the governor of that state. It brings to question, it means that the person who is actually the reason why this crisis exists, he said absolutely nothing about the individual. Many of you have questioned, is the president afraid of Nyesom Wike? I'm not going to say whether he's afraid of him, but when you put one and one together, by the fact that he is speaking, blaming Fubara entirely for this, speaks volume. Let's continue.
And as up till now, 14 months after, no rebuild the same. I have made personal interventions between the contending parties for a peaceful resolution of this crisis, but my efforts have been largely ignored by the parties to the crisis.
Exactly. Look at the president saying that his effort has been largely ignored by the parties. Mr. President, sir, I do not think you're right here. The governor has implemented his own side of this agreement that they reached with you in Abuja. The other side has has basically thrown away the papers with which those agreements were written on. Nyesom Wike still went on, rants every single day like a chicken that drank a 70-year-old whiskey and is probably gone drunk. You are now blaming one part. Come on now, Mr. President, this is not fair.
I'm also aware that many well-meaning Nigerians, leaders of thought, and patriotic groups have also intervened at various times with the best of intentions to resolve the matter, but all their efforts were also to no avail.
Mr. President, I am aware because two delegates that met you last week, Tuesday, I spoke to them. They met you. The delegates of the PANDEF that met you in Aso Rock last week, Mr. President, I spoke to two of them that met you. Your body language, the feedback you gave them showed you were not interested in resolving the crisis in Rivers State, Mr. President. Why? This is unfair. This is unfair to people of Rivers State. This is unfair, Mr. President.
Still, I thank them. On February 28, 2025, the Supreme Court, in a judgment in respect all about 8 consolidated appeals concerning the political crisis in Rivers State, based on several grave unconstitutional acts and disregard of the rule of law that has been committed by the governor of Rivers State, as shown by the evidence before it, pronounced in very clear terms. And I quote, "A government cannot be said to exist without one of the 3 arms that make up of the government of a state under the 1999 Constitution as amended. In this case, the head of the executive arm of the government has chosen to collapse the legislature to enable him to govern without the legislature as a despot. As it is, there is no government in Rivers State," and I quote. The above pronouncement came after a catalog of judicial findings of constitutional breaches against Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Going forward in their judgment, and having found and held that 27 members of the House who had allegedly deflected, and I quote, are still valid members of Rivers State House of Assembly and cannot be prevented from participating in proceedings of that House by the 8th respondent, that is the governor, in cohort with 4 members, and unquote. The Supreme Court then made some orders to restore the state to immediate constitutional democracy. These orders include the immediate passing of an appropriation bill by the Rivers State House of Assembly, which up to now has not been facilitated. Some militants had threatened fire and brimstone against their perceived enemies of the governor, who has up to now not disowned them. Apart from that, both the House.
Oh, did you hear that now? Some militants have threatened to raise fire and brimstone in Rivers State. And the president is sitting down there saying, because Sim Fubara has not disowned those militants, means that he is in support of them. Mr. President, how many times did you disassociate yourself from Asari Dokubo, who had threatened Nigerians for, quote unquote, voting you in parentheses? You have not disowned him. He disparaged an entire ethnic nationality because he supported you. You did not disown him. He had said so many unprintable things about certain individuals and regions in Nigeria because he supports you. You have not disowned him. Yet, you are now declaring a state of emergency because in your worldview, Sim Fubara did not disown those you consider that they threatened the nation, and you, Mr. President, feel so. It's quite interesting. It's honestly, people, is interesting. Let's continue. It's coming to an end.
And the governor have not been able to work together. Both of them do not realize that they are in office to work together for the peace and good governance of the state. The latest security report made available to me show that between yesterday and today, there have been disturbing incidents of vandalization of pipelines by some militants without governor taking any action to curtail them. I have, of course, given stand.
I wish sometimes there is someone else that can actually take state of emergency in Nigeria. Today, over 2,000 people ran away from a village. Today, over 2,000 people. Who is protecting those individuals because herdsmen invaded their community? Who is protecting them? And who is going to come for their aid and declare state of emergency for their lives for them to leave? Why? I do not say things I don't know. Let me actually read. Residents flee Benue. Resident flee Benue community over constant herdsmen attack. Today, 17th, is it not? Sorry, yesterday, sorry, 17th. That was the breaking news. This made thousands of residents to flee their homes, seeking refuge elsewhere as tensions escalate. Sahara Reporters has gathered. Fear has gripped residents of Jato Aka community in Kwanda local government area of Benue State following repeated invasion by suspected herdsmen. Now, Mr. President, whose duty is it to protect Nigerians against invaders, against marauders? Oh, because our lifeline, our blood is tied back to oil. Anything that touches oil, everybody wakes up. Yet, some people can casually march on into Nigeria, use whatever means, nobody cares, kill thousands and ravage farm. We will blow grammar. Oh, these are farmer headers clash. Oh, sorry. Suddenly, a farmer goes and attacks a header. Have we forgotten what happened in Adamawa State, where a farmer is on a death warrant now, a death bench, because he killed a header who destroyed his crop? I said it until we get to a point to note that there is absolutely nothing like farmer header clash. It is header invasion of farmland. There is no clash, Mr. President. You are declaring state of emergency in Rivers State because some sort of pipeline were burst today. Pipeline, while I do not support the busting of pipeline, but there is one thing that is greater than oil: human life. Human blood is greater than oil. If you can declare state of emergency because oil was burst in River State today, I wish there is someone that can declare state of emergency in Nigeria, and maybe with you to get you to wake up that lives are being lost every single day. Maybe.
Order to the security agencies to ensure safety of lives of goods people of River State and the oil pipelines. With all this and many more, no good and responsible president will stand by and allow the grave situation to continue without taking remedial steps prescribed by the Constitution.
No good president will stand by and allow this to happen, Mr. President. You stood by and you allowed it happen. You accommodated Nyesom Wike so much that you allowed it happen. On this one, I lay the blame squarely, 1,000,000% on your foot. You could have intervened. Or maybe what is Wike's hold on you? That you cannot look him in the eyes and tell him, Mr. Man, you're no longer the governor of this state. Yes, you are the godfather that put this guy here, but you're no longer the governor. Allow the young man to govern. Amechi left you, you governed. Peter Odili left Amechi governed. Even you are not in Lagos, and you handed over to Fashola. Fashola handed over to Ambode. Ambode handed over to Senwo-Olu. Even when you have the grip in Lagos State, Mr. President, you're not doing it like a drunken sailor. You're doing it discreetly. We know. But come on now. Come on, Mr. President.
To address the situation in the state, which no doubt requires extraordinary measures to restore good governance, peace, order, and security. In these circumstances, having soberly reflected on and evaluated.
Having soberly reflected on. I'm having headache because there is nothing, absolute nothing like sober reflection here. The decision is skewed, is warped, doesn't make sense. Look at what someone wrote here. I read. Only a lunatic would do such. I doubt. Henry is actually doubting me. Say, I doubt. Anyway, let me leave that. Oh, Jesus Christ.
The political situation in River State, and the governor and deputy governor of River State having failed to make a request to me as president to issue this proclamation as required by section 305, paragraph 5 of the...
Hold on, let's get this clear. Let me play this again.
Many more. No good and responsible president will stand by and allow the grave situation to continue without taking remedial steps prescribed by the Constitution to address the situation in the state, which no doubt requires extraordinary measures to restore good governance, peace, order, and security. In these circumstances, having soberly reflected on and evaluated the political situation in River State, and the governor and deputy governor of Rivers State having failed to make a request to me as president to issue this proclamation as required by Section 305, Paragraph 5 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it has become inevitably compelling for me to invoke the provision of the Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State with effect from today, 18th March, year 2025, and I so do. By this declaration, the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Similaye Fubara, his deputy, Mrs. Ngozi Oju, and all elected members of the House of Assembly state are hereby suspended for an initial period of 6 months.
The governor, the deputy, all the elected members that have come from PDP to APC, all of them suspended. Now, here is the key word. Initial period of 6 months. Are you guys seeing it? Natasha, 6 months akpako, bagam. Fubara, 6 months akpako, bagam. The girl that said Lagos State is smelly, she has apologized. If that girl knows, if maybe she didn't apologize, 6 months akpako, bagam. Mazes, okay, 6 months akpako. Make the bagami, abi make the no bagami. Come on now. This is so unfair. This is so unfair. Anyway, I have people joining me. Listen, if you want to join me, you can please join me. The link to join me is on the comment section. I'm going to bring you in. This is live. This is happening live, people. It's not recorded. We are watching, you know, the last time we had state of emergency was, I think that was under Obasanjo, I think. So the last time we had state of emergency, even in Anambra where a governor was kidnapped, we didn't. Wow. I mean, Tinubu is really surprised me on this one. I'm speechless, to be honest with you. I'm deeply speechless. But let him finish. Let's get the name of the Rear Admiral that will take over now.
In the meantime, I hereby nominate Vice Admiral Ebokate Ibas, retired, as administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state and the interests of the good people of the state. For the avoidance of doubt, this declaration does not affect the judicial arm of Rivers State, which shall continue to function in accordance with their constitutional mandate. The administrator will not make any new laws. He will, however, be free to formulate regulations and may be found necessary to do his job, but such regulations will need to be considered and approved by the Federal Executive Council and promoted by the President for the state. This declaration has been published in the Federal Gazette, a copy of which has been forwarded to the National Assembly in accordance with the Constitution. It is my fervent hope that this inevitable intervention will help to restore peace and order in Rivers State by awakening all the contenders to the constitutional imperatives, binding on all political players in the Rivers State in particular and Nigeria as a whole. Long live a united, peaceful, secured, and democratic Rivers State in particular, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria as a whole.
Oh, you heard that now. What I do not know is the fate of Rivers State as we speak. What I do not know is the fate of Rivers State. For those of you who are wishing to join me, let me quickly begin to take you now. I have Tony here. Tony, welcome to NjenjeMedia TV. Tony, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Tony, we can't hear you.
Yes.
You appear to be, your internet appear to be wonky. Can you give that a try again? Can you hear me, Tony?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Tony, I can't hear you. Can you remove your headset,
yeah,
please?
Can you? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
No, Tony, I can't hear you. So for those of you
you
who wish to join me, Tony, you
hear,
might have
I hear
to,
you clearly. I hear
I
you
don't know,
clearly.
try going out and coming back in. Yeah?
Okay. Okay.
Try going out and coming in again. I can't hear you, Tony. Okay, Tony is going to come back again. So let's see. People, this is incredible. When I say incredible, it is incredible. Honestly. Oh, you say you can hear. Oh, you can hear him. Okay. So when he comes back, we'll check the source. This is incredible. So if you want to join me quickly, let me reshare the link again. We pinned the link on for those of you joining me on YouTube. Let's quickly share the link on YouTube. Then you would have to click on the link on YouTube and join through that. I believe that's going to be the better way to do it. I think listening to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I think the decision, in my view, is slightly skewed against Sim Fubara, because I think that Sim Fubara, in this case, has been unjustly punished. I think he has been unjustly punished. He has been suspended. So this is the link there to join me. Sim Fubara, in my view, has been unjustly punished. He has been suspended for 6 months. His deputy, Ngozi, has been suspended for 6 months. All the House of Assembly people in River State also were all suspended for 6 months. I mean, that is an unbelievable feat that this is happening as we speak. It means that either that Fubara knew that that was going to happen, or that he was also taken unawares. If he was taken unawares, it's it's indeed a worrying one, that maybe if he doesn't know. The question is, what would be the fate of the judge now? Because in my view, since Tinubu has declared state of emergency, the next person they will be watching is Asari Dokubo. Asari Dokubo, of course, they know that Asari Dokubo has capacity for some damages, but also, like Wike said in one of his videos that I'll play for us shortly, he's also aware that Tombolo, in Wike's analogy, that Tombolo is a Joe, that he's not, or rather they are not the only people that have the monopoly of burning stuff, right? So if that be the case, it could be that Wike will be a person of interest now, that the federal government will be looking his side to say, okay, Asari Dokubo could be a person of interest that the government will be watching to know what is happening. So those of you who are joining me, please, if you join me, kindly turn on your camera. Let me know where you are joining me from. Okay, I understand what happened before. Now, please, if you're joining me, can you turn on your camera? I have Dim here. Dim, are you there? Dim, are you there? So if you're joining me, please, if you're joining me, only use the link if you're joining to speak. If you are watching, just stay on YouTube, please. If you click on the link, it is expected that you're joining to have a conversation and talk. My analogy before, what I was saying is, let me quickly see if I can see the Wike's video so I can pull it up and for us to understand what I mean here, right? Recall that the militants actually had once, you know, they once threatened with these that they were going to do this. So when they threatened with this, we didn't take them serious. We thought, you know, it's one of those things, but we never knew that they were going to carry out their threat. Just watch.
Nami, Commander, no good advice. Now we Nigerian grand fighters. You come outside today because it's something that make us come outside. And what make us come outside in our state, River State. And this River State will be our state, so we no go live for anybody. Sim don't give us peace for River State. But some people say they don't want that peace. As you see also, we get joy. No. As someone, we don't get joy. We didn't start creed before. But today, Sim say, we go come outside, come make the state day in order. But one person say no go agree. When he mean they disturb him? No. When he mean they worry him? No. He never really stand up as. None at Sim time. Now you know what you ask him to rule the state in peace. So now they seize our location. If they no release those money, that location no pay them. We, NjenjeMedia grand fighters, we go vandalize every pipeline. All the government go vandalize that for River State. Peace no go dey. Asawana. We go back to bunkering. Federal government should call Wike in order, or else then go hear from us. Asawana. Listen me.
So the reaction now is, what is going to be the fate of the people of Niger, you know, the Ijaw people? Are Ijaw people going to, you know, take this as a slight to their face? Or are Ijaw people going to say, well, it doesn't mean anything to us? It doesn't matter if this actually happens. What do you think the Ijaw people would do? What do you think the Ijaw people would do? You know, some people are arguing that, well, there is nothing. I mean, it's one of those things. This is Nigeria. Don't take anybody that too serious. That maybe because certain individuals we are taking too serious, that's why we got to this point. The argument is raging everywhere. Some are already saying that the president should be supported for, you know, what has happened so far, while some are saying, well, you know, why should we support the state of emergency in River State? And, you know, no matter which side of the divide you are, one thing that I think is very clear that not many of us saw this coming. Not many of us saw this coming. Many people did not believe, many people did not think that, you know, Tinubu would actually be in a position to look and say, wow, we are going to really create a state of emergency. I mean, it's, I keep saying it, I'm still kind of, you know, I'm still kind of shocked. If I play a video where after the election, Wike was actually saying, why would anybody expect Fubara to serve him? Why would anybody expect Fubara to serve him?
Yeah. Would you be worried if that happens to you?
Why? Is he serving me? Was he going to serve me? He wanted to serve the state. The problem we have, or leaders have, is that look, you succeeded in supporting the person to be in office, right? What you did, is it for him to fail or to succeed? You want you to come into your house to be taking orders? You want your wife to go into time, do this is what I want to do, not what. No. You see, once you have left office, you give yourself that respect. I say, I have done my own. If you want my advice, it's okay. If you don't want my advice, it's okay. But for me to begin from day to day, telling him must do this.
Now, if you listen to this, ask yourself, here is the governor telling us, you must not come to me and expect me to run the state day to day. Why is the governor not taking the same advice this was a Channel TV? Why is the governor not towing that line of argument that this is wrong to do something like this? Why did he then allow himself to get to meddle into the affairs of Rivers State to a point that there is a state of emergency in Rivers State? Why? Why? That is something, that a question that bugs everyone. I think Chris is here with me. Chris, if you're ready, I'm going to bring you in now. I think, Chris is here with me. Chris, if you're ready. Hello, Chris, are you there?
Yeah. Yes, I'm here. Yeah. Good evening, sir. You know why I joined? I heard you say
your video is behaving like angels coming with fire from heaven.
Let me see. Can you hear me?
So go ahead.
Okay. The reason why I joined is this. I heard you say that this is how would a judge react? Well, for me as a person, I don't mind Nigeria, but those of you who like, because I know you like Nigeria, so those of you who like Nigeria will have to rise up. This is not an Ijo issue. It is a national issue now, because the president has no right to remove the constituted elected governor in a state. Obasanjo tried it in the Supreme Court. They said it has no right. So if this is allowed to succeed, then you are now into feudalism, 100%, because the person that will come after him will now appoint any governor he wants, anybody that's a governor he wants. So this should be a matter of national issue. It shouldn't be a thing of, say, Ijo or Fubara. It's way beyond the Fubara or Ijo now, because the way I see it is this. One, he set up this Supreme Court to give him an alibi to try to remove him. And so this has become a problem for, because they don't know how to remove him. They wouldn't have the judge to help them to remove him, the chief judge of the state to remove him. So that's why they went all this way, all this. How will I put it? This is a nuclear option. Okay. One, would you say there's anything that has happened in?
Okay. Sorry for that break in transmission there.
Okay,
please,
sorry,
could you continue? Sorry.
Okay, sorry. So what I'm trying to say in effect is simple. If this is allowed to happen, the consequences in the future will be so dire, so extreme.
No, see, you keep saying if this is allowed to happen. It's happened already.
What I mean, if it's allowed to stand,
it's happened already.
Yeah, nobody should. That is those of you who wants Nigeria to work should stand up now and fight it. With every venom in your blood, because otherwise the consequences to this will be.
Yeah, those of you who may not want Nigeria to work. Yes. Is it not a good time to go and buy popcorn and watch?
That's what I'm doing. But because the reason why I came in is because you said it's an Ijo, whether Ijo will like it or not. But I know that This is because I know you are the ones that the proponent of New Nigeria. You see, that is why it is not going to work. How would a man just sit in Abuja and remove a governor that was elected by a people? There is nothing that has happened in Rivers State today that is worse than what is happening in the northern states. Okay, there's nothing that has happened in Rivers State that has not happened in northern states. He hasn't declared any state of emergency there, but he just declared the state of emergency in Rivers just to be able to get the power he wants in Rivers. Okay, two, he thinks that he's just panicking.
Okay,
This is
let me
panicking.
play the devil's advocate here.
Yes.
Okay, let me play the devil's advocate here. Had it actually occurred to any of us that the River State could be a game plan for 2027, here is my theory. Make sure you destabilize River State, hold their resources. River State is the only state with the exception of Lagos, in the whole of southern Nigeria that returns the highest number of votes. Hold the monies of River State. Let that money not go. River State is the third largest in terms of revenue in Nigeria. So hold that money, strangulate River State. Come 2027, make sure that this money that comes from this state does not go into any opposition pocket. Hold the state to a standstill.
Well, if I were him, that's what I would do. It's not wrong. He hasn't done anything wrong in that sense. But what I'm trying to say simple is that, there's no constitutional basis for what he has done. There's no constitutional basis. In fact, Obasanjo has tried it in Plateau, and it didn't work. The Supreme Court told them that this. So if the Supreme Court has been allowed to get into matters that they ought not to be getting to. For instance, I don't think there was any case before them about the defection of the lawmaker. Okay, there was no case before them about the defection, but they went ahead to declare that the lawmakers have not defected, in spite of their existing law judgments in that case, in that regard. So everybody just simply rests. Do you know that, many of you go and read this Babangida's book, the most important revelation he said in that book is not that Nigerian coup, the 1960s coup is not Igbo coup. We all know that, In fact, from Ademoyega, who planned and participated in it, we know that. But the most important revelation is that Nigerians are badly educated. Nigerians are badly educated. Either that the journalists are badly educated or they are committing intellectual fraud. Otherwise, I do not understand why they will be, helping the politicians to misinform Nigerians on the viability of Nigeria as it is today. And if you look at what is going to happen, many people will now think that what he did is the right thing. Many people, many journalists, many of you journalists will start thinking that he has done the right thing. But there's no constitutional basis.
I think with due respect here, it's not about what the thinking or what the journalists think or what the journalists don't think. When it comes to issues of constitutional matters, yes, the court remains a place where these things are tested. Like I said, I am quite surprised that this happened. There was a case in Goodluck Jonathan's time. I can't remember the state again, but there was this argument if state of emergency should be declared. What I find a little bit absurd is that in Benue State, during the time of Buhari and even the time of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that we wake up and we see that, number of Nigerians are killed in a day. and no state of emergency is declared either by the state or by the federal government. Yesterday in Benue State, as I read out before, thousands of people were vacating a particular area in Benue State because they were afraid that marauders are coming to invade their communities and a lot of casualties would then occur. The question is, do we as Nigerians value oil more than human lives? That when we lose lives, nobody appears to do anything, the leadership appears not to care and do anything. But when certain, just small knockout for pipeline, then we'll declare state of emergency. I mean, I call it small knockout. Again, for those of you who may be joining us very late, who did not see when the president read the reason why he is engaging on this trajectory by declaring a state of emergency in Rivers State. Those of you who may not have joined us, for the sake of you, the latecomers, let me quickly once more play that for you, for your ears, to know what had transpired before now.
Fellow Nigerians, I feel greatly disturbed at the tone we have come to regarding the political crisis in Rivers State. Like many of you, I have watched with concern the development, with hope that the parties involved will allow good sense to prevail at the soonest. But all that hope borne out without any solution to the crisis.
Now, at this point, I will be taking it segment by segment. What the president said is that he had hoped that, the parties involved would have made this pain go away. I have Osita Dimma. When you listen to the president say that he had hoped that the parties involved will make this pain go away, knowing that he has just basically, by these pronouncement he has made today as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that he has put Rivers State on a 6-month suspension by the elected government. What's your take?
See, it's very simple. All what you're seeing is an overarching strategy towards 2027 election. There is nothing else there. This man is, when they tell you, probably this is one of the reasons why he had so much sway in Lagos, is this kind of politics of rent-seeking, politics of, loyalty. With him, is all or nothing. We all know that there was no way APC even got up to 100 votes in the 2023 election. But all of a sudden, one Rivers State. So it is now that we are actually seeing the extent of the deal that was reached, the extent of the oaths that we are taking, that give me Rivers State and I'll protect you at all costs. This is it. And this is the reason why lawmakers in PDP had the effrontery to defect. I think 21 of them or so, I can't remember the exact figures. This is the same reason they tell you to go to court, because they control the issue. So what you're seeing now is, I can almost tell you for a certain, it will be a surprise and a miracle if Fubara doesn't get impeached. It's almost certain that Fubara will get impeached and there will be another election in Rivers State.
But how can Fubara be impeached if he has left?
If he has left,
as we speak now, Fubara is no more governor. There is nothing like Governor Fubara. He's gone.
No, he's suspended. First of all, he is suspended. I've not been in the news for the past.
Of course, now he's suspended for 6 months. Natasha is no longer a senator. she's gone until after 6 months.
Yeah. So now, exactly, that's what I'm telling you. Within the 6 months of suspension, that's when they will now use to consolidate everything. By then, they would have finalized the impeachment process. I don't know if the lawmakers were also impeached. I think the lawmakers were also suspended as well, innit? They were also part of the suspension. So by the time they come back,
yes, the lawmakers, the deputy governor, all of them.
Exactly. So this is the reason, the one thing that he have been looking for, because first of all, where he's getting his legitimacy from is from the court. First of all, the court has already pronounced the lawmakers legitimate. The lawmakers were in the process of impeachment.
From the constitution.
The started happening from nowhere.
Can I say something here, please?
Yeah.
Okay. That is the reason why everybody with the PDP or whoever is involved, whoever wants this thing, must go to that Supreme Court again and give them that judgment. Bring it out for them to let them know that he has no right. There's no right whatsoever under whether a constitutional right or any judgment. There's no precedent, precedents for this. So he must not be allowed to execute it. He must not be allowed to for this to stand.
On the contrary, I don't agree with you. Do you know why? Because the president is the chief commander of armed forces of Nigeria. Look at what he said to you, that he has had security reports. So based on what he terms to be a security threat to the state and Nigeria as a whole, it is within the discretion of the president.
No.
The Nigerian people can go and wait, listen, hold on. River State people can go to Supreme Court and sue and say, oh, we don't like this. Now, until the court determines that what the president has done is illegitimate, it stands. And that is where the ugliness of our judiciary.
No, but they have already decided this. There's a precedent for this. Under Obasanjo, there's a precedent for this. So whenever there is emergency, a state of emergency is declared, the governor stands. The governor stands. Every other thing goes, but the governor stands. That is what is prevailing in Nigeria as of today. Under Obasanjo, they did that. It's not. Look, this is not a case of. Excuse me. This is not a case of whether we should allow him to do this or not, because this has been decided. It has been decided.
And this is what I tell you, that if Nigeria were a place where presidents of judicial proceedings are effective, a lot of things that have happened will not be happening. This will not just become another judicial debate. And let me tell you, it's funny because this will take the head news for maybe the next 3 months. Nigerians will not even know about what is happening in the economy and the other things. He knows that where this case is going to end is in the court. And who controls the court? The only way you can reverse this now and go and challenge him and say, oh, you do not, your powers, you don't have up to those powers. What will Fubara do if they line up the Nigerian military in River State and they ordered the IG, Inspector General of Police, to withdraw his security personnel or not to respond to Fubara's security instructions? Fubara is decapitated. And for starters, this is one of the reasons
first
why.
Of all, the governors do not. First of all, the governors do not have security instructions. They are not in charge of the security because they are not in charge of the security, even though they are security.
No. By the position of the government, they are the chief security officers of the state. which they govern.
In paper. In paper.
In paper, exactly. And that's why I told you, normally it
The
should be
governors are the
if
chief
the governor
security
wanted,
officers of the state by mouth.
exactly, by mouth. Normally, if they want to do something, any security instruction or any security operation that need to be carried out, he will have to, maybe link towards the Inspector General of Police.
And
That's
this
what
is an
happened.
indictment. Excuse me, sorry. This is a very indictment to, even he says that it's because he's declaring state of emergency because of insecurity. It's an indictment on him, the
My
president,
brother,
because he's
you
unable
are
to,
the one who
he's
is
unable
repeating.
to secure, he's
No,
unable to secure the
we
state because
we
he's
know.
in charge of securing the state. So it's an
Listen, we
indictment
know,
on him, not
my brother.
on Fubara, not on the governor.
See, you and I know. Yes, we know the truth. But I'm telling you that this is part of a strategy for something bigger. It's not, see, let me tell you, it has nothing to do with governance in River State.
When I agree with you, on this. I agree with you on this. But what I'm trying to say is that
Okay,
those who,
gentlemen,
those, yes,
gentlemen, schedule short. Let's quickly, for the benefit of those who are joining us late, for a recap here, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done the unthinkable. He has taken Nigerians by surprise, and he has declared a state of emergency in Rivers State. By this pronouncement, the Rivers State governor elected by the people of Rivers State, uh, Governor Sim Fubara, has been suspended for 6 months. His deputy, Uche, has been suspended. The whole House of Assembly in Rivers State also suspended. Rear Admiral Eboket, no, Vice Admiral Eboket is now the acting governor. I don't know what to call it, acting governor, military governor, whatever governor, oh, administrator, sorry, administrator of Rivers State. River State, for the past 1 month, hadn't received any money from the federation account. River State, you know how the Minister of FCT have done, stoked fire in River State, and it accumulated into the point that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, GCFR, has now declared a state of emergency. I believe this is the second time the state of emergency has been declared in Nigeria. Let's listen to the president once more.
Some militants had threatened fire and brimstone against their perceived enemies of the governor, who has up to now not disowned them. Apart from that, both the House and the governor have not been able to work together. Both of them do not realize that they are in office to work together for the peace and good governance of the state. The latest security report made available to me show that between yesterday and today, there have been disturbing incidents of vandalization of pipelines by some militants without governor taking any action to curtail them.
Now, I said this without sounding like a broken record. When I hear that the militant threatened to blow pipeline, and the president is blaming the governor, that the governor said nothing, the governor took no action, it brings me to a point where Asari Dokubo visited the president of the Federal Republic, sat in Asorok Villa, and threatened an ethnic nationality in Nigeria, and nothing happened. And he, Tinubu, did not take responsibility for that utterances made by Asari Dokubo. Asari Dokubo has sat in his I don't know, palace, whatever he calls it, in Bayelsa State, and said certain things during the last local government election in Rivers State. And Tinubu didn't call Asari Dokubo to order because they are friends. Nigerians are dying on every single day. The youth leader of our Afenifere was kidnapped. The other time, the videos are all over. A gunshot fired on his butt. and eventually Nigerians did crowdfunding to release him. That was enough reason to declare state of emergency, if anything, at least in insecurity, if our life mattered at all. Marauders are invading villages, taking land, destroying crops, that when you look at them, you think, when is it time to declare state of emergency in such actions? But hey, militants threaten to blow pipeline. And today, I think some knockouts were played out somewhere, and boom, state of emergency is declared. Make we dey watch am o. In the words of Mama P, there is God. Oh.
I have, of course, given stand order to the security agencies to ensure safety of lives of good people of Rivers State and the oil pipelines. With all this and many more, no good and responsible president will stand by and allow the grave situation to continue without taking remedial steps prescribed by the Constitution to address the situation in the state. Which
Now, because of this bonfire that happened today, he declared state of emergency. Let's go back when state of emergencies were declared in Nigeria. If we go back to the year 2004, I believe May 2004 to be precise, President Olusegun Obasanjo declared a state of emergency due to the escalating sectarian tension in Jos, Plateau State. Therefore, because there were these crises between Muslims and Christians community, this unrest led to, then if we do the calculation very well, I mean, according to report, depending on which report you read, some say 2,000 lives were lost, 3,000 lives were lost, and this unrest led to the loss of these lives. In 2001, no, sorry, that was 2001. Then this, as a result of that, the president then, or rather suspended Governor Joshua Darie and appointed retired Army General, that is Chris Ali, to take over as interim administrator for 6 months. And again, if you go by the Constitution, that is what the Constitution actually prescribed. Now, if you fast forward to during the time after the 2011 presidential election, if we recall, 2012, the APC led protests. 2013, there was this state of emergency that happened in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa. That was to combat, when these insurgents started coming, trying to move down to Abuja. Recall the Banex Plaza bomb and what you have, what have you. So as a result of this militant action, the president then, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, declared state of emergency in the state of Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa. He deployed additional troops to these regions and political office holders to continue their duty. So he did not remove governors. It was only Olusegun Obasanjo that removed a sitting elected governor. That was in Plateau State. Now, today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, saying because of the political crisis within the opposition parties, People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Lawmakers that had been threatening impeachment in Rivers State, threatening impeachment. The governor last week, Tuesday, went to present budget, no, on Thursday. They locked him out. We all saw the drama. They locked him out. Wake up on Monday, they started threatening impeachment. Now, the question that is in the lips of everybody, considering what Obasanjo did when he was president of the Federal Republic and removed a sitting governor of Plateau State because there was actual crisis that had claimed over 2,000 lives. In this case, now knockout they all throw. Yes, the governor destroyed the House of Assembly ground, complex, but is that enough to declare a state of emergency? If you're joining us, this is NjenjeMedia TV. By all means, please do us one thing and one favor. Click, like, share, and subscribe. Use the dollar sign there to support us if you wish. Thank you very much if you do that. So let's now listen to the end what the president had to say.
No doubt requires extraordinary measures to restore good governance, peace, order, and security. In these circumstances, having soberly reflected on and evaluated the political situation in Rivers State, and the governor and deputy governor of Rivers State, having failed to make a request to me as president to issue this proclamation.
So, you see that part here? I wanted to listen to it a couple of times for me to understand what he meant. Maybe Tinubu was expecting the governor, the deputy governor, to make a request to him for them to declare state of emergency. I mean, okay, who does that? The governor has not told you that the insecurity in the state is not containable. You have given them an assignment to do. You asked them to revert to status quo. The governor did, withdrew the case, but the other party didn't. You gave them to go and reconcile. The Supreme Court gave judgment. He wrote that he wants to come and present budget. But your minister of FCT goes to town crying like a baby. I mean, in as much as I believe that the 2023 election was rigged against the wills of the people of Rivers State, but because Fubara is now the governor, I kind of feel sympathy for him being the underdog here, because for Christ's sake, he's now in charge. Those who are not in charge, those who have brought him there, you wait to 2027. So what's this point? I feel that considering, putting it on a scale, why Obasanjo had state of emergency, 2,000 lives, and because of someone who is your political pali man. Come on now. I make una now so they start to 1964. 1964. As a result of the fallout of the 1964 election, the Midwest, the Western region, and fell into into crisis, and we had the Operation Waiting, where factions between the late sage Obafemi Awolowo in one hand, and on the other hand, the supporters of Akintola were fighting one another. When they pour people petrol, lit them up, they burn. Operation Waiting, meaning Operation Wet Him. You wet a human being with petrol or kerosene or whatever that is inflammable you have, light the individual up, because that person is from the opposition. The person probably runs, probably dies, whatever happens. As a result of that crisis, also the crisis in Tiviland in 1966, January 15th, young officers who stood by the side and watched the nation sink. Chief Obafemi Awolowo in 1963, having been convicted and sent to prison, they thought that, in their thinking, according to their writings, according to even Chief Awolowo himself, that they bring this man out to come, they do the coup, get Awolowo out to become the president of the Federal Republic. But having in all this, that narrative at that point began to change. One thing that we have lost sight as Nigerians is what led to that January 1966 coup. I will never support that coup. I've condemned that coup, going by the things we know today. Sir Ahmadu Bello shouldn't have been killed. The Golden Voice Tafawa Balewa, the golden voice. A man you listen to, you feel proud. You know, if you're going to feel proud that somebody is your president by just listening to him, I think that's one man we may never recreate and get again in Nigeria. No one has ever come close to him in the powers of oratory and diction in his speeches. He lost his life, the wife. Fast forward 2025. Question that bugs me sometimes, especially last night. I told a friend earlier today, before this case, the one thing that bugs me with this River State, the narrative that are emanating from that River State, sometimes I stop and think, are we going to get back to 1966? And I shudder. And I say to myself, please, take this dream away. I do not want to be there. Are we going to, is this crisis that the president has today given an official label going to sink to the point where the people in khaki will ever begin to think, a repeat of 1966? I say, please, may we not get to that point. Mr. President, you called out the underdog, the governor of River State, the one who sits behind the scene and stokes the fire, appears not to gain any mention. Then I ask, is that by intention, omission, commission? I do not know. But Mr. President, please kindly complete the reason why you've just declared a state of emergency in Rivers State.
Having failed to make a request to me as president to issue this proclamation as required by Section 305, Paragraph 5 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it has become inevitably compelling for me to invoke the provision of the Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State with effect from today, 18th March, year 2025, and I so do. By this declaration, the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Similaye Fubara, his deputy, Mrs. Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the House of Assembly State are hereby suspended for an initial period of 6 months. In the meantime, I hereby nominate Vice Admiral Eboket Ibas, retired, as administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state and the interests of the good people of Rivers State. For the avoidance of doubt, this declaration does not affect the judicial arm of Rivers State, which shall continue to function in accordance with their constitutional mandate.
So, my brothers, and we have no sister here. Having listened to this for the second time, let me start with Chris. Chris, I know you say nto, it serves them right.
You know what I usually
saying to Nigerians nto.
Exactly. When
listening
I
once more again to the things said by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What's your take once more?
Okay. I always go back to history. I always go back to history. In 1914, Britain introduced diversity in the territory called Nigeria. And shortly before they decided to leave, then they started to bring all these diverse people together. In 1949, Nnamdi Azikiwe addressed Igbo nation at Aba. In that address, he talked about, one, the hatred of Igbo people by other ethnicity, Two, he talked about the lack of federal presence in Igbo land. Three, he talked about the Yoruba media, that is Lagos, Ibadan, Calabar, with the BBC media propaganda against the Igbos. Four, he talked about self-determination. Now, those of us who know something about diversity always know that there are only two ways to solve the problem. Either you hybridize or you separate. They know these things. Awolowo, Azikiwe, and the Saduana of Sokoto knew this thing shortly before the independence, and Azikiwe suggested hybridization. The Awolowo and Saduana said no, they will opt for separation. But unfortunately, when they went to England, I don't know what happened. They now got into a situation where now you have what I will call cross-pollination in Nigeria. Cross-pollination is
Sorry, let me interject here.
I'm coming to this.
I'm trying to understand the nexus you're trying to make here.
Yeah, yes, I'm coming now. Just a minute. So the reason why I'm saying this is that you have Nigeria as a contaminated product nobody wants. Now, the problem that with Nigeria is not Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The problem has to do with the diversity of issues of cultures and all that. Now, the president, whenever any part of any government comes, they govern according to their culture, according to their destiny, according to their destiny, not according to their culture, not according to the Constitution of Nigeria. Because if you go to the Nigerian Constitution, nothing this man has done resembles anything, that Constitution functions. So what I'm trying to explain to you here is this. Those of you who are afraid of 1966 or 67 or whatever, I was also born before the war anyway. I was born shortly before the war, so I understand the problem of going through civil war. So what I try to tell you about this particular situation is this. If it is allowed today, because what he is testing is testing the water, he's testing the depth of the water. If this is allowed to stand in it, he will go further. He will go further. And the further they go, the worse Nigeria becomes. You understand what I'm trying to say? So what I'm trying to say is that if anybody who is trying to talk about, if this is not fought for, because that's what is happening, if this is not fought for vigorously by the parties, I mean the PDP and the people of Nigerians, everybody, because they should not say it is Rivers State problem. It is not Rivers State problem, it's national problem, Nigerian problem, which will be fought that way. If it is not fought that way, then Nigeria will continue to sink. It will continue to sink. And that is why I said anything that he has done, because he hasn't got, I started from the beginning that he hasn't got any reason to declare state of emergency in Rivers State. One, nobody is dying there. Two, there's no insecurity there. As far as I'm concerned, there's no insecurity. Three, if those people were coming to threaten, he has enough security men, he has a lot of intelligence to fish them out. But he refused to do so. He is in charge of the army, he's in charge of the police, he's in charge of the intelligence. The governor has no hand in any of these things. So what would a governor done? So that is why I'm saying,
okay,
if you go back to history.
Now let me ask you this question. Yes. Let me ask you this question. If you can answer me in 1 minute.
Okay.
If you can answer me in 1 minute, that would be very appreciated. Okay. Having listened to you, do you think that Fubara was misled? If going through Twitter, you see people saying that now you see an moto don't jam you. Fubara, they don't mislead you. that do you also believe that Fubara was misled by those who egged him on, who told him
Not
to
at all.
discard Wike
Not at all.
and not agree to the terms and conditions? But before you answer that question, listen to Asari Dokubo here.
That drunkard, wicked nosed. Yeah, they said we will not come. If we are coming, will you come, wicked?
Oh, they will not come.
You will not come. Just this man, Alaji Dogwasari is not coming. His people are not coming. So you come. Sino Foranga Bigrin de Boswa. You are making mouth. You are shooting tear gas at unarmed women. You are shooting guns at unarmed women. All you wanted to lure me. Boma in her capacity as a woman, without the police, why didn't you confront her? Was it the job of police to shoot tear gas at unarmed women? Where in any civilized society is that done? You are daring a job, people. And those of you who are disgraced, somebody who abused you, you out of the abundance of the heart, take your problem to him and leave it there. He's going to, who is in years or wicked? I have restrained myself. Who is in years or wicked? Who is he? What has he done before other than stealing government money? Where has he worked? What is his pedigree? Who is his father? Who are his fathers from generation to generation? Who know them? He's talking of Ben violence. If anybody had benefited from this corrupt Nigerian system, is that idiot calling Yezowiye? He lies, he talks, he's grandstanding, because people live it. They failed. Oh, they shot tear gas at my sister. I'm going to come. They did not see me. They know if we come, they will die. That is not to wait. You will die. If we come, we'll die. None of us will be scratched. We will walk away.
Now, just oppose this to my question. And
Yes,
I rephrase the
said,
question again and I re-amplify. Do you think that Fubara was deceived by individuals like Wike, Asari Dokubo that egged him on?
no. No is the answer, and that is the reason. What is happening in Rivers is not unexpected. Culturally, the people from that our side, the eastern zone, do not like king. Okay, we do not like king. So if somebody starts behaving like a king, he will fought against, the people will fight against him. So it is expected. Now, even if you look at, it's not only in Rivers. Here in Anambra State, it happened to Ngige. Oh, it happened to Ngige and his godfathers. Hello? Yes. Are you hearing me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that it's a cultural issue. We don't serve kings, So if somebody wants to make himself king, he will be resisted. He will be resisted. So even if another person, even if it's his own brother, it will be. But if you look at what in the Yoruba
in this case, sorry, let me understand your thought process. Who is king here? Fubara or Asari?
Mike
My
is
question
trying
is
to. Mike,
on
yes,
those that
I'm saying
Fubara on. So you're not talking about king.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm trying to tell you that those people that are egging Fubara, you thought that are egging Fubara are not doing so, because normally Mike is trying to be a king, and that cultural anomaly is what is being resisted by the people of River State. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to say. So that cultural anomaly, this thing, if it were in Yoruba land, that is like what he's trying to import, what Jagaban, the president, did in Lagos. That is what he's trying to import in Rivers, but it's not working for him. Okay, you understand where I'm trying to go now.
But
so it is a cultural issue.
By this declaration, one can actually say that Wike won.
Well, yes, of course, he is winning for now, but the consequences for the people will be much if they allow him to win. Because that is why I'm asking people now, those of them that want Nigeria to rise up now to make sure that he doesn't
It's
win.
not about if. State of
no.
No.
When something happened like this, people just take it. Because if they take it, then then that means that acceptance. But if they pour on the street and say they don't want it, they will reverse it. They will reverse it. The people are more in number than the government. And that's what Nigerians don't understand.
Was
Anyway, so sorry for my listening, but I'm trying to do this thing because I'm looking at it from not from the incident itself.
If you stay on the trajectory of my question,
yes, no, the trajectory of your question is: should Fubara have allowed concord with Wike and to play out what Wike wanted? And the question is, why should he? The answer is, the question is, why should he? If he should have done what Mike wanted, then the people will be worst for it. And it is not a cultural, it's not in our culture to allow such a thing. You understand where I'm going? It is not in our culture. So as long as it's not our culture, then that is why we're having issues.
So what you're actually saying that what you're saying that the people of Nigeria, or rather people of River State, should be on the street protesting this pronouncement?
Exactly my point. They must know if they allow this to happen, even the wider Nigeria, those of you who want Nigeria, the wider Nigeria must not look at it as a river issue. Because that is why the government.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, your point is
let me give you my intervention.
Osita, go ahead.
First of all, he who goes to equity must go with clean hands. And I'll borrow a phrase from Mr. P2B. Anyone who wants to take power, you go through an excellent means. I can't remember how Ubi said it. Maz is okay, I remember. Sim Fubara, when they made him a governor, because he did not win any election, did he? Can you remember anything Sim Fubara promised River State? I can bet you, if you call River State people now and ask anyone to recall off heart what Sim Fubara campaigned upon, no one can remember.
They rigged the election, that's correct.
So how did he get into power? First of all, he went into a place. He was more like a, what is this thing? Is it mannequin? What's this stuff you can control people you put strings on and you can control it. I can't remember the English term for it.
It's a puppet.
Exactly. The right word I was looking for. It's simply a puppet. So he was someone who didn't understand what it meant to be a governor.
No, mannequin.
A mannequin, a puppet. He was a governor, but the House of Assembly was under the control of the same person who brought you into power. and they have a dying loyalty for him. Blood-oated loyalty, generationally, intertwined and, cause detrimental loyalty to Wike. Do you know, it was only in Rivers State that I realized that there was a plan that those House of Assembly members would never go out of power. Because it's only in Rivers State that a governor is building house for House of Assembly members. On what basis? You need to see the architecture of kingship and kingdom Wike and already try to build in Rivers State. Then again, Fubara, maybe yes, you can say, oh, he wanted to get into power first. They start doing the right thing. Now this should serve as
But
a lesson.
he still has sorry, let me interject here. Wike actually still has gone ahead to do that, because if you look, Wike was, because if you look at this, Wike was was in River State over the weekend, and he had the following to say.
No. So let nobody deceive you that the governor is Ijo. This one is not true. All of you here are Ijo, is it not? Are you benefiting? So what is this? Politics is interest. Is it not correct? If they were writing an exam, you wouldn't have carried it. So let nobody come and deceive you. When they go and collect money at the back, they tell you, let's go and do this. Ask him, that's what you collected last night. Did you put my own there? Did you put my own there? We must come up to say, people must not behave and treat people, use people, and dump them. And then you say it's politics. That politics has to stop. That politics of use and dump must stop now. Enough is enough. So, for what you've done today, I don't know how to thank you. You have shown capacity. You have shown your.
So that's Wike. Now this is Wike. Again, when the Ijo versus the him, I wouldn't say Ijo versus anybody, because it's Ijo versus him. And he goes there, tell them, are they benefiting anything? Meaning, do you understand when he says, are they benefiting anything? So, the sad reality here is that in the minds of the so-called leaders is one thing. Anything that is benefiting financial, material stuff. And the people, they are there chorusing. Bottom line is that I personally believe that the governor lost it, but that in as much as he's lost it, I wish there is a way they can go back and say who actually won this election, right? But if we begin to look into the books of the election winning in 2023, you search INEC pockets, you see remnant of cons in there. You see some agbado in there. Some of the things that was, the numbers will have to change drastically.
You see
and
Gandola
those
in
that
there.
you never expected that could be in
You
government
also see
will now
Gandola
begin
in
to
there.
be in government. So, it's a place that I think they are going to off the mic. They wouldn't want the real thing and the truth to come out, because the mic must remain off. So sorry, go ahead, Ositadim.
Yes, my brother. So when and I understand your empathy, towards the said governor, but I'm too irritated by the nature of the way things are done in Nigeria. You know, my only pity goes out to the River State people, but not also, in a way, the pity will not even be 100% because we, as citizens of Nigeria, are also, you know, we are way too, how do you call it? Relaxed. We allow everything to go. See, until we get to that point where we say no, we want things to be done right. Until we get to that point where we are as radical to a point where leaders, before they misbehave, they will think twice. My brother, we're not going to move forward. So, to answer your question, Fubara, he got into power. How he got into power? He was also greedy. He was desperate. He agreed to be an agent of destruction. Then along the line, he realized himself. He changed his mind. Okay, that's good and fine. Maybe God will have mercy on him. But at the end of the day, like Wike said, this is now politics. Clearly, he doesn't have the upper hand. Also, Tinubu knows, because I'm sorry, my boy is in the background. That's my 2-year-old Michael Jackson in the house. So please forgive me. I mean, so Chibliam, calm, please. Now, because of this, like I said,
that's fine. Go ahead. That's
this 2027 is what Tinubu is after. Because obviously, it's either he has one choice. He can either choose Wike or choose Fubara. Who do you think he wants to choose? Who do you think he trusts more? His FCT minister, of course. So it's a game of interest. And River State people are the pawns in this story. And we are saying, River State people, will they just allow, will they be on the street? My brother, in the Imo State election, what happened? What happened in the Imo State election?
Exactly the point I'm making. Because that was allowed.
So this
because that was allowed.
What happened in the Imo State election? So because my brother was saying that kings, in that they will resist. My brother, making noise is not resistance. If you're going to resist so that your resistance will be known. Resist so that your resistance.
There is breaking news, I believe. There is breaking news. Reports are coming in.
They don't come out. They don't lift the emergency state of emergency.
That, soldiers are moving into River State.
Yes, I'd seen that. Yeah.
Reports are coming in that soldiers are moving in. So, again, this is what I've seen trending, yet not confirmed. So, again, yet not confirmed. But it's expected that since the Vice Admiral Eboket is now the new administrator of River State, that it is expected that you will see military movement, military administrator. I pray. Some people are saying that there should be martial music. I pray, I don't know how it will be like. I recall in the 90s, for you to take over Nigeria, you just need to go and get NTA and FRCN. Now everybody is a broadcaster. So we can actually be thwarting the coup if it's happening. Or
But
anything.
okay, can I ask you a
just
question,
on a
please?
side note. So go ahead, Mr.
Normally, for a president to declare the state of emergency on a state and suspend a governor, would he have needed the go ahead from the National Assembly? Do you know how far the Constitution writes about that? But then again, if it's a state of emergency, then if it's something that still needed to be deliberated in the House of Assembly,
No,
then
I
I
think
guess it would be a state of emergency.
no, I think no. I think that's the Constitution does not say that the president has to get approval from the state. No, I don't think. I don't think the state of emergency that you need the legislative approval. But I think it's something that the moment the executive does, it goes into the Gazette's book, which the president actually mentioned, during that speech, right? I don't know. I think state of emergencies are done. I think it's an executive power, executive fiat that can be wielded when there is a clear threat, because you may not be able to convene in certain threats. You may not be able to convene the National Assembly or summon all of them to be at seat to debate and to, if it's something like war where it's not something done, we are not being attacked. So like, if you recall, when we wanted to go into was it Niger Republic, and the Senate started debating it, and that died. So, but if it's something that that we needed to respond within 1 hour, I think that's where certain powers are needed that the president can actually act within within his executive powers. Probably this is one of them. The good thing is, when we wake up tomorrow morning, between Arise TV and channels, we will see the political higgy-haggers, the discussions. They will
professors.
The discussions. In fact, after this, I think I'm going to call Michael Zuckerman. Let me actually hear from him and see, his thought process as to what next. Because I bet me tomorrow morning you will see. I bet to see tomorrow morning someone like Olisa Abakoba, Michael Zuckerman, Femi Falana, the seasoned lawyers to begin to discuss the merits, the merits of it, and the legality of this.
More than
Chris, you want to say something?
Yeah, instead of going to the media, let them go to the Supreme Court and argue it out. I would like them to.
Okay, someone, Petra David here is in the comment section saying that even when that is done by the executive, that the president still needs, that the National Assembly still needs about 10 days to approve the Gazette. I do not know if that's correct, but again, it sounds plausible.
Yeah. So like you said, by tomorrow, we'll hear from the authors of a Nigerian constitution, authorities in Nigerian constitution.
Someone is saying that we should bring in Patrick Obiagbon on this one. I say, if you bring Patrick Obiagbon, that means there must be civil war in Rivers State, because he will confuse everybody that will start shooting ourselves.
Is that man that blows a lot of grammar?
Patrick Obiagbon is a Confucianist. He is not needed on this one, because he will be telling us about the political higgy-haga.
What they need to do, what these lawyers need to do is to go to Supreme Court and then
guys. So let's round up. Let's round up, guys. I may come back for another stream, but let's round up now.
Anyway, thanks for having me. What it is this. This is what the way I look at it is this.
Listen, guys. The way you talk about Supreme Court, you can't just wake up and go to Supreme Court. Your case.
You're talking about Supreme Court. We get the Supreme Court of Nigeria. There is a reason why the president holds Wike to heart. See, Wike holds
I
the
understand.
judiciary in his
I
pocket.
understand. I understand that. I understand that.
Listen to me. Wike has the judiciary in his pocket. In his pocket.
I understand that, but
There
the
is
reason why I want them to go to Supreme Court is different from what you are saying. I'm not
What
saying
do you
so that
expect the court to do? Wike is
so
the one building houses for the judges.
for the justices,
yes,
judges, and everything.
yes. The reason why I want them to go to Supreme Court
I beg,
is
no one man should have that such power, Mr. Izuke.
no,
And this falls back to, see, what are we doing about it? We can talk from now till next tomorrow. No political party, no opposition is in a good place.
exactly what I'm trying to say. What we need to do about this is this.
Okay.
One.
When are you going to float a political
we
party?
can't do
And this
anything.
one is not the one where P2B will be a presidential candidate. No. Because we need people who are ready to die. You know that Obi is not ready to die. You know Obi loves his life very much. What are we going to do? Because this same thing, you and I will, if care is not taken, our own children, but your kids are not in, I don't think your kids are in Nigeria. I don't think your kids are in Nigeria, Mr. Kreitz. Obviously,
It's not it is. Look, if my kids are not in Nigeria, I want them to be not in Nigeria, but in Igbo land. I want them to be in Igbo land because that's where their forefathers come from, and that's where I want them to develop. The society I am today is developed by people. So I want to be part of, I want them to be also part of those developing that society. So it's not, so I'm not happy that they are here. I'm not happy that they are here.
It's funny. Look at the kind of problems we're having in Nigeria. Whereas the world is moving ahead. A month or some weeks ago, it was Deep Sea. 2 weeks ago, it was Manus. Look at the things that the world is doing. China is there building, flying cars. You see, the world is moving ahead.
My brother, listen and listen clearly. Okay, no society develops without its culture. That is one. Two, the problem in Nigeria is diversity of culture. Three, unless you solve that problem of diversity, no country is run as a multicultural society. Not even here I am today in England. Okay, England is it's a multiracial, but not a multicultural. There's a difference between multiracial and multicultural. So people should understand this, and the more we try to explain this to people, let them understand where the problem lies, then they start telling us about these symptoms, because this is what happened is a symptom. It is not a problem.
Chris,
it is a symptom.
I want to tell you something. I know where you're coming from, but like Mazi is okay, and a lot of us, we know that thing you're thinking about is hardly an option. It is almost impossible to
You don't know what I'm thinking about. You don't know what I'm thinking about. What I'm saying to you is this. What I'm trying to say to you is this, okay? If it's not only Nigeria that has the problem of diversity. Those who have had problem of diversity resolved it before they start moving on. Basically, there could be Nigeria. Okay, there could be Nigeria. But unless you resolve the problem of diversity, which is the multiculturalism that exists in Nigeria, okay, that in the multiculturalism they are trying to run Nigeria with, then you will not make any progress. No country is run as a multicultural society. And I'm not saying, so how do you resolve the multiculturalism? Go to India. Go to India. Go to India and ask them.
Beyond
go to India. I'm giving you an example. Go to India and ask them. Okay? Go to India. India had this multicultural problem. They resolved it, and today they are moving forward. Okay, so it's not as if it is not unresolvable. It can.
See,
it can, but nobody wants to resolve it. You see, because let me give you an example. Let me tell you something. Okay, the reason why you have minorities in Nigeria No country, no, I mean, nobody is a minority in its own land. You understand? Nobody should be a minority in its own land. These are issues that
let
need
me
to be
ask you this
resolved.
question. The problem
Yes,
in River State, is
yes.
it as a result of multiculturalism that you talked about, or is it as a result of greed by individuals?
Okay,
My brother, Chris,
okay.
answer.
Now, the problem arises from multiculturalism before the greed set in. It derives from multiculturalism before the greed set in. You see, let me give you an example. If you have all a job together, okay, and have an Ijaw nation, Ijaw state in Nigeria, there will be no when so weak to decide for them who their leader should be. And if you don't decide for them who their leader is, then they will be able to select who leads them. There will be no case of the president trying to impose somebody on them.
Your theory falls flat on his own face. If I give you an example, your theory falls flat on its face. In my state of Anambra in 2003 election that saw 2004, when Chris Ngige emerged, Anambra is one state, one people, one
Yes.
language.
Yeah.
And something similar that we saw in River State today happened in that state. So if you want to compare and say, oh, because they are not one people, you see, the issue is that our inability to do certain things should not be excused and killed and destroyed on the altar of because there are multiple ethnic nationalities, right?
No, you don't understand. You don't understand.
Even before Nigeria came into existence in 1914.
Yeah.
The question is, how did we live before?
Exactly.
We still lived as a people. Hold on.
Okay, now exactly what
Oh,
I'm trying to say
okay, go
to you.
ahead.
You know,
Explain to me,
remember
sir.
I said to you, I remember I said to you that no country develops without its culture. The way Igbos elect their leaders is different from the way the Yorubas elect their leaders. Now, the problem starts why you have Ngige. The problem of Ngige is because they impose a different cultural method of selecting leadership in Anambra. So if the Igbos or if Anambra people, say for instance, say this is a way we want to elect our people, and they pursued it, there will be no problem. But if this is imposed on them, then there will be a problem. That is what I'm trying to explain to you.
So
what I'm trying
you've
to say
moved.
to you,
No.
what I'm trying to say, what I'm
Your
trying to explain
conversation.
to you.
You've
What?
moved.
No. The conversation
You've
I want
moved
you to
from
understand.
blaming. Hold on. You moved from blaming it on multicultural, and you're now blaming it on democracy. Listen, my brother.
No, not democracy. Not democracy.
You have to know that even before the Greeks, that the Igbos are democratic in nature. So
exactly.
democracy is
That's
not
what
a
I'm
new
trying to say
concept
to you. That
to
what
the
you
Igbos.
are practicing. What you are practicing in Nigeria.
Electing, even within, of course, now you talk. No, what is democracy? You talked about the process of selecting. Ngige was selected by Anambra, not Abuja. Those who were Ngige's godfather were Anambra people. They were Igbo people. They were people that lived less than 15 minutes away from his house. So how can you just, there is no foreign concept here in terms of that selection. If you want to go to the route
concept
of how we even select some traditional rulers, have we not had people in Okozo? Are we not here when some certain individuals with questionable characters and wealth emerged as traditional rulers in that? So you see, hold on, people. What I do not agree to, that if I have certain failures, that if I have certain threats where I think I have failed, it's ingenious and smacks of, me not holding myself responsible for certain things, and I'll begin to blame external body. I should be able to take responsibles where I've faulted, or where I've faltered. That, as opposed to saying, "Oh, this happened because of X, Y, Z." No, right? We are not the first people to be a multinational entity. We are not the first
There's no
to
country.
have
There's no
crisis.
country. There's
But
no country
again,
that is
the
governed as a
point before we
multicultural
debate
state.
is that the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has declared a state of emergency in Rivers State. I will end with the following to say, what we are going to do is by tomorrow, I will end with this. I'm going to make some calls, and I want to get some seasoned constitutional lawyers to join us either tonight. What's the time now? That's 7 minutes past 9. Yeah. I would ensure that either they join me tonight or tomorrow morning. Let's deep dig, and I would also make my research and find out what does the Constitution of Nigeria say, which sections actually support, because I know that some certain individuals went to court after President, I think during the time of Goodluck, certain individuals went to court, and it was as a result of the fallout of Obasanjo's state of emergency that Goodluck Jonathan actually did not remove the governors, rather kept the governors and declared state of emergency in order to bring certain things under control. Now, the question is, does the president have the right to declare state of emergency and remove an elected governor? The same way and the same argument some people are saying, does the
Supreme Court has ruled on that
have
before.
the right to suspend their fellow senator on mere accusation, a senator that was elected by a constituency? And so when we find out all these things, then our argument and discussions will be anchored on clear case of based on solid information. Gentlemen, I thank you very much for joining me. It's been my pleasure to have both of you.
I'll just add one thing.
Right?
Wike has been looking for.
So okay, I give you 1 minute to start your final submission.
The past 2 years, he has been looking for a way to get the governor out. This Tinubu just served it to him on a platter. This young man is like you're not. I can see you're taking time to get this thing done. You know what? I'm gonna do it for you, and that is it. That's just what has been done. This is just what it is. And what I'm saying is, Nigerians are not. This is another point where, when we are supposed to react, everybody will go home and into their rooms and take their shits. That is it, in fear. We will never.
When you're talking about reacting, so what you want now is the people of Rivers State to just go on the street and say, "We'll not go agree, we'll not go agree."
My brother, that is what it should be. Let me tell you, worst things have happened in other states.
Yeah, they say make you carry your fat belly, go street, just the talk say you no go agree.
Listen, Asari Dakubo will not do nothing. Power pass power.
The military go just go arrest on that one, no be anything. Anybody hoping on that one will just waste his time.
You know that when they want to allow him use him, they allow him to do all those things he does. When they want to allow use him, the only time you see him being very, very, braggadocious and all that, all in people's faces, is when he's actually dancing to the tune of the government, which over the years he has learned to do. He has learned so well to do. But now that this has happened, I'll tell you.
I had my encounters with him during the time of election and after the election. Yes. Anyway, thank you very much. Thanks, you, Osita, for joining me. It's been a great conversation, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
So, as I said to us, we would try as much as. Thank you, Oscar. Good show. Thank you very much, Oscar. Oscar is just gifted us this. So Thank you very much. Oscar Blackbone, thank you for the super chat. And for many of you who joined us, it's been a great one that we looked at it. So for those of you, if you wish to support us like us that did, in that comment section, you see like a dollar sign, touch the dollar sign. It will take you through the process of getting the super chat or the super stickers, just for you to gift. It's called gifting for so many people who are new to here, or sorry, those of you who are on the TikTok app. Now, in the final analysis here, I am somewhat worried that the president had to do this. It took everybody by surprise. For those of you who joined me when I started, I shouted when I heard that. I shouted that I did not see that coming. But it is what it is. Be united. Thank you for subscribing. See, be united. Thank you for subscribing. Many of you, please also click the subscribe button. If you subscribe, we are going to give you an applause. We're going to clap for you when you subscribe. Yeah, we'll applaud you for when you subscribe to us. So, in the final analysis, what we're going to do is by tomorrow, we will try as much as possible to get other individuals who are probably more knowledgeable than we are on this to discuss this, understand what this entails. On this note, I say thank you very much for joining me. I am still Mazes. Okay. Good night from here. Oh, before I leave, another applause. Chizova. Chizova, also thank you for joining and thank you for subscribing. So let's give you an applause again, Chizova. Thank you very much. If you also want to do us a favor, let's give us an applause once more. Chizova, that's for you. If you'd want to give us a super sticker or a super chat, that would be appreciated. Good night from here. Signing.